DreamHack Open is brought to you by Intel, Corsair, MSI, and Monster Energy.
Welcome back to the DreamHack Open November, or the DreamHack Nopen, as only I am currently calling it. I think it's a touchy title. No? Boo?
Nopen?
The Nopen, yeah.
I'd call it that, probably 2-3 times a day if I could.
Flair. I used to be someone who called it that 2 times a day, never 3. But not today. Not today. I've been going full name. Blair, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Didn't have to take a nap. I was watching some stuff to really keep me pumped up.
What do you watch when you need to get pumped up? Is it like Asians CS?
No, that's when I'm depressed. Heavy metal, mostly.
Heavy metal. Any recommendations for the viewers out there?
A little bit of Pantera, if you guys are into that, maybe. Does anyone in chat, maybe? I don't know.
Pantera, that's kind of old school, right? They've been around for a few
Old school,
years.
best cool, 100%.
All right. Boo, you've been listening to Taylor Swift, right?
Oh, 100%. Got the album on repeat.
Yeah.
Mostly Taylor Swift. Only the classics, though. Only the classics.
1989 is the classic, all right. No long-haired mermaid hair Taylor Swift for me. No. I'm all about the New York Taylor Swift. All right, then, let's get into a final game state of mind, because we're going to take a look at the Group B bracket, because we've got our final match of the group stage coming up. It's going to be Nemiga versus Illuminar, who is going to be joining Gambit in the playoffs. Whoever wins this next match, they're going to be facing Spirit. So is it going to be a CIS derby, or will the Polish lads of Illuminar make good and make it to the top 4? They did literally just qualify for this event less than a week ago. I was actually in Poland in the ESL offices when Illuminar were playing. They beat Wisla Krakow, I think that's how you pronounce them, in the finals. And actually, they were the surprise winner in that pick. But are they going to fare well in this matchup? Well, we are going to have a look at the map veto, and then hopefully that's going to give us a bit more of an idea. Because, I've not seen much of Nemiga. I've definitely not seen any of Illuminar. So, Blair, what are you thinking here?
I'm thinking it might go the same way it went the last time these two teams played, right? So Train should be banned out here by Nemiga. Inferno, that's the permaban from Illuminar, one of the surprising permabans. Inferno getting taken out of the equation. Last time they played, Overpass, Mirage were picked by Nemiga and Illuminar respectively. Nuke is the decider. Overpass got a little too close for comfort, so I'm expecting Nemiga to maybe go for a Nuke pick. So I'm expecting Nuke, Mirage for Illuminar, and maybe Overpass coming as a decider. Vertigo!
Okay, Vertigo.
Okay, I don't know about this one, because last time I saw Illuminar play Vertigo was against North. They got banged out. It was 16-3, 16-5. It was a drubbing. And I don't know why they're going to be switching it up right now, because, Mirage was looking really good for them against Nemiga earlier on. And yeah, that's a bit of a head scratch for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's... that is a very odd one. They did so well on Mirage before, and they kind of just stomped Nemiga on Mirage before, so it's a surprise they wouldn't just pick it again. Maybe they're trying to metagame, anti-strat the anti-strat.
I don't think they have that deep a map pool to do that, Boo.
Well, let's take a look at the map stats for Vertigo, because it's quite interesting that Illuminar have picked this, because they don't have the best win rate on it, and as you've mentioned, Blair, not the best performance that we've witnessed on it either. So I feel like this is trying to punish as a pick, and yet I feel like a true punish pick, you need to be good at playing the map, Vu.
Yeah, it's almost like self-inflicted wounds at the same time. I guess I don't know where I'm trying to go with here, but basically both the teams don't look good on the map. It's going to be ugly.
Vu, what do you make of that, Vito?
I mean, it's not their best map. Certainly, I would have preferred they picked Mirage, but it makes some sense. It does feel like they've played slightly better opposition on the map, and when they've played kind of weaker opposition, they've done just fine. But it is a bit of a coin flip. It feels like I would have preferred they picked Mirage. And
Nemiga, I feel like they've got more experienced players than Illuminar, so I don't want to call them weaker opposition. Maybe level, maybe a little bit of an edge there for Nemiga. Let's take a look though at the voting stats you need to know, Twitch chat. These are the hashtags you need. IHG if you are for Illuminar. Shimbrobble, hello, good afternoon, good evening, good night to everyone from Poland in the chat. I apologize that I butchered your language. And hashtag Nemiga for any of the fans of that team. Let us know who you're thinking is going to take this one. And in the meantime, we're going to have a little video. We are going to catch up with PHR from Illuminar to see how he's feeling ahead of this crucial match.
I mean, the match versus Gambit was like really tough, and it was mostly because we didn't hit our shots, and I mean they were just better.
The duels, he's been shot in the sides and all around, but no real fights given his direction. Now has to go for the plant. Well, oh no, he's actually catching them off guard. Okay, this is getting a little bit dangerous. They're low HP here on Gambit.
I mean they were just better. The second match was much easier. We had much more confidence, and we just realized our plans, and it worked pretty well.
Waiting for them to come in. PHR distracted for long enough that he can get closer. PHR's not even distracting. He's killing. He's killing.
I think overall Nemiga is a pretty good team, but they are playing with two stand-ins, so for sure they can't play their own game. They need to improvise a lot. That's why we are probably not going to analyze a lot their game, and we are going to focus on our game if we're gonna play against them. And hopefully that will... that's all. Dzięki za oglądanie i kibicujcie nam.
Dziękuję, PHR. Thank you so much for talking to us. I enjoyed the honesty there. Gambit, the reason we lost is because we didn't hit our shots and they were better. Kova, much more confident, plans in place, and that makes me think that is the reason why they picked Nuke, because they had a demo to watch, Vu.
I think that interview was really illuminating in that, you know, he says they're playing with stand-ins, so they're not going to be able to really do too much. And I think that's probably why they would have picked Vertigo there. I would guess that's most likely. Mirage, more of a map that you're expecting a team to do well in if they've got, you know, pug players, or not pug players, but replacement players, right? Whereas Vertigo, you require a little bit more team effort potentially.
Well, the thing is, from talking to Tea Time, he gave me a full-on match report. Thank you very much for that, by the way, Tea Time. And he said that Illuminar lost over 10 anti-eco rounds to Kova. So although they took the W in the end, it doesn't really sound like their confidence did much for them, because that's quite disappointing, Blair.
It is, but that's what you're going to be getting, right? Like, we might be talking this about Illuminar, like how they struggle with these anti-egos and whatnot. That's going to be the same thing with Nemiga. I just want to touch upon the last time Nemiga played Vertigo was against Gambit just a few days back in one of the 95 Cup finals. It was atrocious. They just got completely slaughtered by Gambit. At the same time, they were making so many mistakes. It was a finals. It was a small event, I get it, but it was still a finals, and they were playing so loosey-goosey. So maybe that's why Illuminar picked it. Maybe they saw that Nemiga really struggle on it. At the same time, I still want to go back. The results aren't that great either. And I have to still agree with Vu here that Mirage would still be the safer pick. You're playing as a team with a stand-in, right? I mean, just stick to your guns. You're good on Mirage. Just play it. God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I have to confess, all that Monster Energy went to my head a bit. I got a bit giddy, and I was acting like Illuminar picked Nuke and Vertigo. But the point still stands. They picked Vertigo. They picked him up. They've seen their opponents play. I just got my things mixed up. So instead, rather than me rabbiting on, we are going to go to another interview. This is Joe. You saw him play earlier with Nemiga, and you're about to see him play again and talk about his team.
been dealt with straight away. A brisk headshot delivered first class. Hobbit now has to try and deal with the rest. Flashbang into his eyes. Good position, drops down, gets through the smoke.
Feels bad to lose, because you're losing, that's why. When you're losing, you always like, I should have done that, like you have better thoughts like than in game. In game it's much harder to take some decisions, and after game you know that some decisions are like wrong or not working.
Oh, this is an awkward trade. This completely barrels out of control. Gambit lose 4 players.
I think we should win Illuminar. Like, I feel comfortable play against them. Good luck to Illuminar, and see you on the server.
I want to point out really quickly, Dio played now second best of 3 of the day, and he's in a really, really dark room. That is the middle of the afternoon. The boy clearly likes to live dangerously. And actually, let's draw attention to Dio's performance from earlier. Actually, he really got it done for them on Inferno, I believe it was. I do need to double check my stats on that one. But he was a key player in their victory earlier, Blair.
Yeah, 100% he was. For me, the bright side here, I would say, for the side of Nemiga is, despite the fact that they have a stand-in and it's their best player, Lollipop, is not going to be playing. But I did see a tweet from him that his hand's fine now, so he's going to be able to play in a couple of days. But Forrester has been fantastic, coming in as a stand-in, you know, doing that lurk role, great, winning so many individual duels as well in Inferno, although they lost that map. So overall, as a team, despite the fact that they have the stand-in, I think that they still should be kind of slightly favored over here. My question here is MDS. He struggled earlier today and also saw a little bit of tilt coming in as well. You need to avoid that right now.
You really do. I mean, what's the win condition for Nemiga, Blue? Is it Vu? Sorry, I should say. Is it just to do what they do and wait for Illuminar to kind of sit in the shadows and not do anything in response?
Yeah, well, from what I've heard, Illuminar is a team that's going to give up some opportunities. They're going to give up some opening kills, and they're going to give up some anti-eco rounds if they do get the lead. So Nemiga, they looked pretty good against their previous opposition as compared to what I would have expected. So I think if Nemiga can kind of keep it together, not give away too many 1v1s, they should be in the driver's seat.
All right, then. I think it's time to get your predictions on this one, boys. Blair, what are you saying?
Ooh, okay, this one's a tricky one. I'm gonna go with the team with a stand-in. I feel like Nemiga, despite having that handicap, they've looked better overall. Although the interesting thing is both the teams have lost to Gambit and they've also beaten only Kova, right? But yeah, I'm gonna go with Nemiga. Although it gets still go the way. Yeah, Nemiga. Screw it.
So if they can keep it together, they can be in the driver's seat. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think Illuminar is gonna take it home. They're gonna win it probably 2-1, maybe. Illuminar.
Okay. I'm gonna say Nemiga. Vu, this is hard because I shouldn't be betting against you because statistically you
no
get
love
this
for snacks,
right.
really?
I don't snacks on that. No, I snacks on facts, and the facts are pointing to a Nemiga victory. That's all I'm gonna say. But what are Twitch chat saying? Let's take a look.
Oh boy,
that's more one-sided than the Gambit game we had earlier today.
That is unbiased opinions in Twitch chat. 100% unbiased opinion.
Yeah, pander, Vu. Keep pandering. It's okay. It's fine.
I do want to say big love to all the Polish fans watching in chat. It's really, really lovely to have you joining us for the DreamHack Open November. And of course, the CIS fans as well. I hope you keep it civil in the Twitch chat, but we want to see the memes, we want to see the copy pastas, and we want to see your support for these two teams and our wonderful casters. It's going to be Yumi and Tea Time coming up after this break for this final best of 3 series of the day.
It's finally our turn to talk, Michael. It's going to be Illuminar versus Nemiga, and we managed to catch quite a bit of these teams yesterday. The desk was taken aback by the veto, and I have to say, Michael, so am I. There's a few things that I didn't expect. The Vertigo pick from Illuminar. What do you think about it?
Yeah, we managed to kind of dodge it out a little bit when it came down to the teams I think we had as the sort of favorites coming out of Group B. But yeah, now we end up in a bit more of an awkward territory because I don't think either of these teams have looked the sharpest on this map in particular.
I think the one point which we have to consider is that yesterday there were two stand-ins for the side of Nemiga. Zorte was one of them, and when it came to Vertigo versus Kova, a team who, by the way, are actually quite good on Vertigo, especially on their T-side defaults, Zorte was a torchbearer for a lot of their CT side rounds where an AWP was able to get a duel. Now, there were a lot of AWP duels lost as well, but the point is he still was one of the better rated players across the map. Jao was also I personally think Jao was the only reason why they won that map, because he was able to come through in a lot of very crucial moments. So for me, I actually like the Vertigo pick from Illuminar. It's a map where Snax himself feels a little bit more comfortable, and when you put him against an Opera who's underperforming slightly in Speedek, who we didn't see him show up today, I think there's legitimate possibility that Illuminar can take this map away despite being 20% lower as far as win rate goes.
I think the worry is that, I mean, I like that you bring up the fact that Kova had some really solid T-side defaults. I think if you looked at Nemiga, their CT side did look quite good, even when they were put in these more troublesome positions. I don't really know what the full scope of the strat book is for Illuminar and whether they're going to be able to implement it in the disruptive style that Nemiga are going to likely throw at them. I mean, we saw how many times Forrester was kind of leading in some of the aggression. He has been a catalyzing force for this side, even with him being a stand-in. They're giving him a lot of freedom to kind of explore those possibilities as well.
And the thing that I have to look towards is that I think if it goes to 3 maps, I think that Nemiga win this for sure. Illuminar could maybe take it away in 2 though, because yesterday we saw them on Nuke definitely look competent, but a lot of anti-egos being lost. But more than that, a lot of 5v2s coming down to 1v1s. I mean, I saw them 4v2, 5v2, 4v2, 5v2, and then they'd just be a 1v1 suddenly, Michael. So if they're able to get to that 3rd map, I think Mirage is a little bit more dicey. Their stylistic matchups aren't the best because of how rotation heavy and slightly passive that Illuminar likes to play. It can go pretty poorly against a team with a stand-in who, realistically, they're going to be playing a lot more aggressively than they would anyway. And it's Nemiga. They're pretty damn aggressive as it was.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of faster site takes, probably a lot of saves called as well in instances like that, because, like you said, the styles don't really match up all too well. Typically, fighting aggression with aggression is a good way to counteract and make your opponent have to do something different, but I don't know. I definitely hold hopes high for the polls. I mean, we saw them in the Twitch chat. There's obviously quite a lot of support coming out for them. The polls are there at the polls to make sure that the support is there. I just don't know that it's going to be enough, because I think while they're maybe a little underrepresented in terms of fan base, Nemiga do look like quite a terrifying team at times, but this is a weakened version of them. That is definitely the big caveat we have to keep illustrating throughout the series. But whether those are big enough caveats for it to matter, that is a whole different story. It's Vertigo as our first map in the series, our last best of 3 of the day, and Illuminar, it being their own pick, will start on the T side.
Who makes it to playoffs is the big question, and Illuminar, it'd really like to be the name at the end of that question mark. Now, 2 sets of utilities coming out from Illuminar. They're going for a standard A-sided play, or at least that's what it seems like. They've left Mouse over back towards B, but PHR's leading the charge. Looks for the first, but can't connect. The rest of the CTs are peeking beautifully, and now PHR gets 1. MDS, though, from the side does decapitate ahead. However, advantage still in the favor of the terrorists, and now by 2.
Oh, the nade sailing through, hoping to find a little bit more damage. MDS looking for information, of course, with only 2 players left. That kit can also be recovered, and they're hoping that they catch Illuminar in transition, but transition they will, but they've made it round that corner. Nemiga not going to get that information fast enough. Mao's already taking that B bomb site, and the bomb going down soon after.
Michael, I know we've had these conversations in the past about potentially saving, but this is not one of those times. This is one of those times where Veggie and PHR are incredibly low. Snax doesn't have armor, though they can't know that, but there's a possibility here, and they'll be looking to exploit. PHR sees a player jumping up on the tractor, but it's him to get one and Mouse to finish off the second. PHR with 3 kills, despite whiffing a few early shots. That's a good sign, because yesterday, in particular on Mirage versus Gambit Youngsters, we saw him going 0 for 6 initially, before bringing it back to a 12 and 10, I believe. Might be reversing those numbers, maybe it's a 10-12, but the guy needs to get going for his team, and I like that he's online very early on.
And I think that if we are going to add something to the Illuminar game, is that when there have been absences, when players have gone missing, it is very frequent that we get to see players like Reeds, PHR, Mal's really step up in bigger moments, Veggie as well, really Snacks being such a big part of the firepower department for Illuminar as of late. When you see the activations of these other players on the Illuminar side, it does get a little bit worrisome for a team if you are supporting on the opposition. PHR should be able to lead nicely with the AK in this round. Up close and personal is Joe. It's good damage, but still a clean kill.
That's a guy who knows his angles right there. Nemiga. And you said their CT side was still respectable, but we'll have to wait till the gun runs for that. Box, however, is going to force them to put up some respect. That's a nice quick headshot. Nade goes out as well, going deep, great damage. Vertigo, however, will respond. And Illuminar, they're slowing things down, letting it go, letting the CTs peek one by one, and as they do, they get the kills. There you go, very clean anti-eco. I like
and good patience. Not feeling overrushed after they take some damage and tags.
Did Snacks always not have a mustache, or is it just now?
I don't know. I don't feel like I track his facial hair game too intensely.
That's what you're doing wrong, Michael. See, that's where it really comes down to. You know? I mean, look at Forrest. Why do you think he succeeds? It's the truth, Michael. That's not what it is. Riyadh, however.
Mustache. I don't know, man.
That's true. You know what? You're not wrong about that. But we'll have to wait and find out whether Riyadh has got a bit of a stubble going for himself. He can pull something off. Nemiga, in the meanwhile, though, still just hovering around the crane. They are hoping for a few kills, just for a bit of extra kill bonus even. That would be nice. Jo and Forrester do find 2, and they've made it expensive. And even more than that, Illuminar are at risk. It's a 3v1. We called it before that anti-ecos are an issue, but I thought this one at least would be guaranteed, and maybe Mouse can still take them home. Box is in the back lines and Mouse knows it, and as Box proceeds forward, he might not be expecting Mouse to watch this angle.
Oh, Mouse bringing it back. That is such a scary round for Illuminar. You can see cool, calm, and collected in the cams, but I imagine the comms cluttered. Mouse really bails them out of a dicey one. And you're right, we highlighted it before. The anti-ecos are really, really devastating for Illuminar. Thought maybe coming into a new day, new dawn, fix the problems, but looks like they may still be prevalent.
Oh, Snacks, that's a great opening kill as well. Onto a gun round, no less. That's one of the reasons where Snacks' impact rating is so much higher on this map than most others, is because of how open it is for Oppers to get aggressive and get a good entry kill if the other team is going aggressive on either side, really. So good to see him picking that one up, especially because Forrester likes to actually go down these stairs and camp there for the rest of the half. However, now we'll have to wait to see what the plan is once they've got the first.
A lot of utility being expended here by Nemiga, trying to keep them at bay.
No, I don't think that was intentional, though, from MDS.
Yeah, absolutely not. But the intention seems to be clear. Get closer. See if you can catch Illuminar before they properly set up Box. Fancying a rotation back towards the A side. It is a bit of a feign here from Illuminar as they are still not making any real commitments.
Snacks is waiting for them. And at this stage, the question is, does MDS get Impatient and peek out does look like that's the plan, but Impatient is not what he is. He's just successful, finds two, and sure, Mouse trades, but 28 seconds and rotations are here from the CT side. Mouse now proceeds forward, needs to catch the player behind default quickly, but the generator is what distracts and allows Box to peek out. Box can't get the kill though, and Speedek, he's fired out, hitting Kim Air and the building behind, but Riat is the one picking things up. 8 seconds on the clock. Geo trying to stop the bomb from being carried over, and they're both low, so Geo can bring it back to a 1v1 easily. Picking up the ult might be a mistake, but he's realized that Mouse was not sticking it.
Nemiga lose everybody. They lose everybody. But MDS going huge with a double swing, getting the nice little spray down over a B ramp, gives them enough of an advantage coming into that Illuminar, they take a little too long. And that was something that we saw yesterday, in fact, as well. I remember recalling from Overpass so many times, it was just these late round executes from Illuminar where one thing goes wrong and the whole strategy crumbles.
And the thing for Illuminar right now is this is where the eco round, where they lose, anti-eco round, where they lose 4 players, comes back to haunt them. Snacks, though, is down. Box gets the kill. Sure, it's traded, but the MP9 has found success.
Still another one around the corner, so... Hidden element, Speedak, they do go to clear him. Reeds, nice duck underneath, but they line up for Joe as he gets the spray down. And prepared for Reeds as well. Okay, get out of the air. Sit down. Nemiga holding on to a man advantage.
Jo continues this all-star performance as he makes it 3, maybe even 4 as Veggie's trying around the corner, and indeed it is. Even an op save for the next round. Jo was the propelling force to take them to a win yesterday on their CT side, and it seems like now is no different.
Yeah, and it felt like Jo just felt like he took a little bit longer to activate. It was really when they got into weirder, more awkward sort of clutch, crucial rounds that we started to see him shine. But off to a better, much faster start.
Also have to attribute it to how well Cover were playing their defaults, in all fairness, and Illuminar have looked a little bit more hesitant, I'd say, but now comes out Box and he's got money. Oh, so much of it. MDS has got frags, but, you know, Box is the one counting the bills.
1200 versus 900.
Listen, man. Wait, don't talk about 1200 versus 900 like it's nothing. Talent negotiations matter, okay? Nemiga, though, they'd like to be able to negotiate a few more round wins if they can. And MDS is very much in charge of that. He's got an agent, but PHR has shut him down.
Oh. Okay. Sharp shot. One tap from out. Yeah, bit of a blunder one side, but one makes up for the other. Illuminar have so much room towards B. Now, because of the hesitation, the lack of a smoke, they didn't actually progress on out.
And Mouse is heavily tagged as well. Now, this 3v4 becomes incredibly crucial at whether Speeda can find a player if they proceed forward, but Box has not been able to hold his position. And now with just 2 players who are both low, a save might be in order, but at the same time, Illuminar, they have 2 players very close to death, and even closer. Speedek is taking them right over. 16 HP across the remaining 2 players. And the bomb is taking away. Jo's got a Molotov. That could be everything. If they're able to clear the concrete box, Speedek can just cover. And as that volley goes out, it's doing so much damage. Jo can follow up and just make it work. PHR is lining up one of his own. And as the clock ticks away, they're going to be able to move in and take him down. And with the smoke, that'll be all she wrote. Defuse comes in. They've got the kit. Nicely done.
Yeah, I thought they might just be tempted to save given the circumstance, but they get the kill on Reeds, and then one by one, Speedak makes this more and more feasible. Just that double kill,
2v4.
Jo then coming in clutch as well.
It's a 2v4, Michael. We've seen this before.
It is the 2v4 with the caveat of nope, half the side of it
that's
can't
true.
peek though, just because they're so low.
Nah, That's true. I'm just worried, man. I'm just worried. I don't want to see those kind of mistakes coming in. This one a lot more excusable and a lot more on the shoulders of Nemiga rather than putting some blame on Illuminar. But now Illuminar have gone for a buy where they have basically no utility. It's all about their firepower. And Mouse has hit some pretty insane shots, don't get me wrong. His KD reflects that as well. But following through, it seems like they do sort of need to just rush aside at this point altogether. And that is against Molotovs, that's against grenades. It's a tough ask.
Speedak in a bit of an off angle, prepared for the jump up on the sandbags, but closer path being taken by Reeds instead. It's a patience game.
They don't check in the corner. How? They haven't cleared it. That's the problem without utility. You just can't clear everything, and Geo might just be ready for an ace. He has 4 now. The nade does damage. Riaz isn't able to clear him out, so he's not even checking the angle. And with the flashbang coming through, Geo is hungry. You know he wants it. And the Molotov forces Riaz forward. He has to go into alley. He's committing. And Speedak on the other side, but Speedak's missed a shot, so Riaz is at least able to get some damage. Meanwhile, Geo's moved out. Geo's on the prowl, and he's got the ace. What a way to lose a round.
And that was one of the problems coming into that. Because it was such a close endeavor, it was the clutch back by Nemiga. There was no money really in the tank for Illuminar, but they buy nonetheless. Nobody makes that compromise. That's sacrifice to get the utility necessary to scale effectively. And well, it's the one uncleared angle that comes back to bite them. Geo off to a flying start. 15 kills in 8 rounds.
Well, listen, that multi-kill rate, it's going up and up and up. Geo's now had 2 rounds where he's had 4 or more kills. And that's just absurd to say, Michael. 4 or more. That too against guns, by the way. Let's not forget that. Both of his high impact rounds are even more so. Those aren't just empty calories on his scoreboard. Now, Forrester's not really doing too well, but that's because he hasn't needed to step up the same way. And now Speedak, he's going aggressively, making sure no one's coming over from the T side early on for a fast scaffolding push. But Forrester, he has a chance now to pad up those stats. He sees the players but can't connect. Riaz takes him down.
Oh, on the cross, MDS does do a significant portion of damage. The nade onto Reeds could have finished him off, but instead this PHR that gets brought even lower. This could still be a plan here for Illuminar. They could take this even further. Snacks is doubled up. It's now just Joe. He has to find another multi-frag for Nemiga to take this one over the line. The Molotov's good on Snacks. Snacks pushes forward, survives on 3 HP, and finishes off the triple kill. Illuminar overturn it.
I hope we get a replay of that one because it was sick. That shot from Snacks, I mean, generally just with the AK-47 picked up, he's able to lead the charge. And the last shot, so clean while he's got the Molotov behind him, so he can't even wait. Perfectly done, and Geo's multi-kill is denied, but Illuminar, they get themselves a ray of hope where the CT economy is once more pushed to a difficult spot. Riaz now pushes forward, almost catching off Speedak, but instead he's been spammed off the angle.
How tempted are you on this Nemiga side to give them those fights towards A ramp? It's something you can criticize a lot of teams for on Vertigo. How often they'll fall victim to the same things, you know, deploying standardized smokes on the default, getting picked by the AWP above it. Nemiga are playing a more passive game. Now Illuminar start to show their hand, a couple flashes, some steps made.
Well, this time he's definitely going to be mollying out the angle. They're not forgetting that one again anytime soon. Speedak, however, holding a very standard angle, waits for them to make their way over, but as Molotovs rain in and his path back to side is blocked off, Mouse can follow through, and that is very nicely done. Nemiga, with 40 seconds left on the clock, their utility is running low, but Geo's position is huge. He's creeping around, but PHR won't let him. Riaz, in the meanwhile, will fall, but MDS is nestled away in a very tough spot. Box can't follow up because of the MP9. The range isn't there, but the repeak will at least make up for it.
20 seconds left here for Illuminar. These smokes aren't going to last forever, and Snack's trying to peer in with the AWP. They need to get a move on, holding for the peak because Nemiga are not moving a muscle. A flash thrown. Now the MP9 peering above the boxes, and Veggie has to create space. This happened yesterday so frequently to Illuminar, and it's plaguing them still. Another round where they lose on time because they just find the bomb at the last second.
I'm scared for Nuke. Oh,
thank you, Illuminar. I need a timeout too.
We were kind of running short on words over there of what exactly is going on. Illuminar can't be happy with that. Especially because these are things, like you said, they're repeat offenses. They keep happening. And one day, okay, whatever, you know, you can rally the troops together. You can say, okay, guys, it's fine. It's just one day. We played some bad CS. Who cares? But I actually have to refer back to the interview. I'm really concerned because of what was said in the interview by PHR. He talked about how, hey, we were the better team yesterday. We think we had a pretty easy time. I agree, they were definitely the better team, but they did not have an easy time at all.
Yeah, definite concern for Illuminar. Didn't do much prep for this game either because, well, focus on yourselves. Nemiga playing with stand-ins. How much can you really read into it?
Well,
to be the case, and well, talk about not nice giving them the pick.
Entry kills. Yeah, that's one of those very important entry kills that he's able to find. It does look like Speedek wants to go forward, and as you would say, use those long hands of his. And audition for a role in the Fantastic Four. Now, Illuminar, though, are headed over back towards the B-bomb site, where Forrester has another chance to try and redeem himself. He's not quite as aggressive as he was in the past, so he might just want to hug the generator position, but the Molotov is well-timed. Snack, however, in the back lines, watches for the flank, and Speedek will not get the kill. Veggie, now with a beautiful decapitation. It's a guillotine, and Veggie's got two. MDS will be left alone, and will very quickly be reacquainted with his teammates in the afterlife, and also 5 seconds later in the round.
Well, entries upon entries, holding for the lurk as well. It's Snacks with a double, Veggie as well. Now Nemiga have been knocked down a peg. SMGs, pistols, it's a full force. Like you said, Forrester definitely less aggressive and finding just far less success on these rounds where you would see him getting entries in the prior day. But Illuminar coming out with some nice shots, so there's no surprises.
The question is, Nemiga have just won a have just gone for a force buy. And now it's going to be a full eco, so Illuminar should have the opportunity to make it 7-6. You essentially have one gun round before Illuminar has guaranteed themselves a respectable advantage on the terrorist side. It's just the one. But the problem is, and that this is something we have to bring up, Nemiga looked considerably stronger on T side yesterday than they did on CT. The one major difference, however, is what you mentioned, is that JO really activated towards the very end. This time, it would be a lie to say JO hasn't been here all throughout. So there's a lot of ifs and buts, but they're all going to be raised up towards the end of this half and the next.
Yeah, and a large part of the T side felt like Forrester as well. And maybe starting CT comes with that added sort of filter that you can put onto his scoreline, that it is in the T side where he can sort of dictate the fights, what kind of engagements he wants to go for. He does feel like he's being abused over towards that B side.
Yeah, it's sort of true because the thing is also about his positioning is that because of how often Snacks goes for the peak aggressively with the AWP, Forrester isn't able to get down to the stairways, which is where he was really succeeding from yesterday. So Snacks' ability to get an early peak and be aggressive in a way where Spargo and Kova wasn't actually trying to utilize makes it significantly more difficult for Forrester to actually play from his comfort zone, from where he can get aggressive. That's just not an option anymore. Now, Mouse should have an easy cleanup. This time, the USBs are not going to get too much done. It's a USB, actually. No, they're going back now. Fortunately for the T side, Jo doesn't stick around. Otherwise, that could have been a second free kill and a gun with it. But it's Veggie to close off any pathway back towards the A bomb site. And this should just be Nemiga trying to save this AK.
Oh, free kill onto PHR. Unsuspecting of the off angle there. And well, you talked about that second AK that could be recovered.
Yeah.
On its way into Forrester's hands.
They don't have the bomb. Jo could actually move in. Jo could actually move in and catch him off. Jo's got the kill and he's got the bomb as well. Suddenly, things are so dangerous. Last time over, they did clean things up. It was MDS to bring it all together and get those USB kills. This time, it's Jo. But last time, Illuminar had Mouse to finish things off. This time, Mouse is down. Veggie and Riyadh have to come up and fulfill his role instead, but there's 30 seconds left. Time is ticking, and Jo's angle is so tough to deal with. This is so hard to clear. Are they even going to consider it? They have so many different angles to watch out for, and Forrester's here for the first. It's a 2v1. It's just USBs. Forrester's not checking it. He's gonna move past, but Jo's already down with 10 seconds left on the clock. Yeah.
What a round from Nemiga. It's Jo and Forrester that come up big. Like you said, it's pistols. No digs. Nothing special. No flash play. They just overwhelm, overrun, and it's individual fights. Crucial ones at that, won by Jo, to put Illuminar in such an awkward position.
Michael,
whenever
I give information to Frankie about, hey, you know, this is an important point, they lost like a lot of anti-ecos and all of that stuff, I'm just worried maybe I'm wrong. This time I was worried maybe I'm right. Oh, wow. Shame time indeed. But Illuminar's losing to USBs, man. Like, even the previous time, sure, they won, but it was with the 1v3. This is concerning. This is very concerning.
Still, they have enough of a recovery set in place where they can, of course, reinvest. They've taken the timeout once again. Just Nemiga, it felt like they're being gifted these lifelines. Jo starting off well in round number 14. It's an entry, they're looking to get aggressive as well. Box is up close and personal behind the smoke, but PHR spams it.
Oh no. And right now... Wait, I have a question, Michael.
Sure.
How has Nemiga won as many rounds by time as they have normally when there's 7 rounds won? That's literally not possible.
Yeah, I think it's... that was an ultimate.
You know what? Hold that thought, because Speedek just went down. PHR, however, might be traded by the nade. Indeed, he is. It's a 3v3, but even now there's 2 Molotovs, which could be the difference maker. Fortunately for Illuminar, smokes are not an issue, but lives are. Forrester is chopping them down.
Oh, the gap in the smoke. Jo can see just above it. In between, he's pushing for even more space and actually catches Mouse off. That's 20. Veggie, now the last man standing here for Illuminar, has pulled it to the 1-on-2, and these positions are hard to clear. Not going to be given an isolated fight if he goes for and pursues that short position. Veggie instead repositioning, using the flash, hoping that they'll be blinded for the lack of information. And Veggie still has to crack open this crossfire. The first duel there, but Forrester wins it. He's come alive in these past couple rounds for Nemiga. Sure, USPs. This time a triple in a rifle round. Nemiga at 8.
And this is terrifying, Michael, because before at least you had the consolation. Yeah, T-side Forrester's doing really badly on CT. He's not going to have momentum. He has a bigger hurdle to actually get past. Now Forrester is kind of killing it. And Nemiga, they're already up to 8. We were talking about how Illuminar could be set for 9, but Box has now moved through, and Box has gone down. Mouse with a great entry early on, but a nade once again doing decent damage. This time, though, it isn't the equalizer. Ali's not a focus for the CT side. They don't have an off to try and contest it with, but Maus has gone forward. He's trying to find kills, but it's his teammates who are stealing them away. It's to a 2v4, and Maus brings it to 1 and none. 7th round on the board for Illuminar. We're going to go to a short break, and when we're back, it'll be the second half, and we'll see how they can do.
It came through like a hurricane, blowing right through my brain. That boy drives me insane, like a hole in the head. Swarm off like a hexend. I saw him flirt with my best friend, but he knows my address and finds a way to my bed. I know I should give you up. They say love is just bad luck. I can't seem to shake you off of me. One more chance is all you need. You got the best of me. Could you be my boyfriend just for the weekend? Could you be my boyfriend just for the weekend? Could you be my boyfriend just for the weekend? Yeah, I see it, this ain't right. We argue all day and love all night. Baby, you're like poison. Why do I need you more than drink you up and spit you out? I'm drowning in this loveless trap, falling to pieces. This hurting is needless. I know I should give you up. They say love is just bad luck. I can't seem to shake you off of me. No, one more chance is all you need. You got the best of me. Could you be my boyfriend just for the weekend? Could you be my boyfriend just for the weekend? Don't wanna be friends just for the weekend. Could you be my boyfriend just for the weekend? Don't wanna be friends, you're just for the weekend.
And we're back after a shaky first half. Illuminar do end up slightly in the back foot, but maybe the CT side is where they'll excel. On the other hand, Nemiga have already had Jo popping off and Forrester finding some life towards the end of the first. The question is, who's really going to be the star? And it might be Riyadh. Great kill to start things off.
Yeah, even though blinded up, just firing off a couple shots gets a little fortunate. Forrester has been a magnet at times for some of these stray shots. Some nice entries from Illuminar. Now, what's the reaction here from Nemiga? They're a man down. I think they'd hoped to have a little bit of a lurking presence over towards that B side, but Veggie does spot them out.
Rotations are still slightly slow to come over, though. They're still a little bit worried, and with a minute and 15 seconds left, I can see why. But now they've made their way over. Smoke is there from the terrorist side as well. The full wall available, but the spam from the USBs isn't really finding anything at all. Now, the problem is that if they... Oh dear, actually, they boosted up over there. I thought they were using the bomb to do so, but MTS with 2 headshots has found them the slight advantage. Now, second one wasn't quite a kill, but it's still a 4v4, and Speedek almost with the fadeaway, but Maus is dueling onto the players on ramp. Beautiful shot to be landed, and a second on top. Jo fighting back. Jo looking for more in the smoke. The player is low, but he can't get it.
Oh, if he knew. Just a little to the left. One stray bullet would have done it. Even the natural spread of the Glock when firing that fast, it was close. But Illuminar do manage, and it's off these really sharp retake kills from Mouse, creating that additional room for Illuminar. And I know we didn't really talk about it in the first half. We didn't really highlight it, but Speedak, he comes back into the lineup, has had a pretty shy performance. We kind of touched upon it as well in the earlier best of 3, but I really expect him to be a contributing force.
Oh. Hopefully he can do what Snacks did. Snacks really helped out the Illuminar cause in a few of those rounds with a couple of good entry frags. Veggie. For Illuminar, the rest of this half might actually bank just on this round. You don't want to be pushed into a position where the next round has to be a Force Spy or an Eco, and then Nemiga just has the economical advantage for 2 more, maybe even another gun round in there. So if you can win this one, it's not just one small advantage you're getting, it's a very big chance to extend it forward as well. 45 seconds though, Nemiga are letting the clock tick down. This is a little bit scary after what we saw in the first half, but a nade goes out. Veggie's tagged up slightly. The players are still hovering on ramp, not wanting to push forward too aggressively, and Veggie with that smoke going down might not be expecting Jail to already be past it. The duel is there. Veggie wins it. PHR in the meanwhile through the smoke. Good for 1 and the second. Snacks on top of Superbox makes it so Speedic is very lonely. And Speedic, sure, he's got the bomb, but he's got no time. Has to take a duel and die for loss bonus. A very clean anti-force spy from Illuminar.
Well, that's the second time we've seen that as a reaction to this wall of smokes on the A site, just spamming through. Sometimes, I mean, the old style we ought to see was, you know, setting up for Molotovs, nade sets. Nah, that's too much effort. Too much learning. Just line them up, spray them down through a smoke. So much damage accomplished in that particular round, and with the importance kind of being highlighted of that round by you, of course, that does leave Illuminar with a little sigh of relief, a little extra breathing room.
And I have been very impressed by one thing about Illum. I'll hold that point.
Impressive.
Jo has been very impressive. And Jo's looking for more, but it's Box to finish off what he started. 3v3 with weapons recoverable, not rifles, mind you, so not the worst of circumstances for Illuminar, but the worst might still yet to be coming. Speedic on that B-bomb side, taking some duels, but not entirely successful in them. Riyadh is going to be able to force him back, and with a minute left on the clock, will recover the bomb, group up, and try to commit to one area of the map. At the very least, they've forced the CTs to not be able to rotate. And Snacks, now he's got to just step up, and with the M4 in Box's hands, it was doable, but Snacks with another flashbang, repeats out, gets more, keeps it going, and finishes it off cleanly. And Michael, the one thing I was just quickly going to bring up is that, ooh, clapping, yay. Illuminar has been good at anti-force spies, which is an improvement from yesterday. They've actually closed out every single anti-force spy so far, if I'm not wrong.
But I mean, if you can't get the anti-ecos,
Michael, we take victories where we can.
I don't know which one is. I mean, yeah, there's minor positives to be had. I just feel like you're kind of jumping up a step. They're actually running without walking first.
Do you need to walk when you can fly? Yeah. Because otherwise you can't really land anywhere. Mouse, Nate goes forward, doesn't really find much, but at least he's able to push them back. It's a significantly more passive approach to the B-bomb line than what we've seen in the past day or so, but Veggie's actually the one to break first blood, as Jo, the man on a mission, has found his mission cut short a little bit early.
Yeah, Jo being trying to being this instigating force, really, for Nemiga, an initiator.
Instead, it goes the other direction. That smoke seems to be fading over towards Jordan. MDS gets the kill necessary. At PHR, the reaction is good though. Finding a kill and backing himself away. Snack still peering in long distance behind the Molotov as well on the AWP. There's nobody that can challenge really for Nemiga, but they found an equalizing frag. Blinded up, it's forced for DreamHack to cover. Snacks had him surely dead to rights, but able to adapt in time. Nemiga, this is a much better side take. Far more of an advantage. The smoke's still down, and Illuminar don't have too much to work off of.
Riyadh just got blinded by his teammate while he was thinking of pushing through the smoke as well. And because of that, he's forced to back off and can't even continue the spray after the bomb's been planted. And with Speedic and Forrester being this low, that could have been a kill. Still, a 2v3 is on, but there's no utility. They have kits, yes, but the 1-by-1 peaks, and Nemiga is able to make short work of Mouse, getting themselves their first terrorist-sided round. That flashbang from Riyadh actually... Sorry, from Mouse, which blinded Riyadh, actually might have been the difference maker.
Well, if there's anything we've maybe come to expect from as far as we've been on the stream, is that these scrappy games are sure going to be close. And coming into this, the fact that we had, I think, not so much a split desk, but a heavy amount of discussion leading into both of these teams. We, of course, had the sort of on-the-fence approaches. You know, is Illuminar sharper? Are Nemiga in the right form? We're getting very split answers so far in this map. Glimpses from either argument. Nemiga still a round behind, but have the better buy coming into round 20. And they creep through middle. This has been kind of a lack of emphasis from both teams in this direction, so it actually gives it up, and this creates that hole. Miles may just get here a little too late, but actually lines them up. He gets a double rapidly there for Illuminar.
And Speedic responds, yes, but advantage for Illuminar is massive because Mouse is still looking for more. Forrester on that B bomb site, he's not visible to Mouse as he's moved past, but the problem is Box. And Box has shot him down back to a 3 versus 3, and there's no backup on B. They were expecting Mouse to be able to hold it on his own, but he got too aggressive. And as a result of this, now PHR has to deal with a player behind Generator. And by the time the Molotov is lined up, he knows it. The bomb will already be planted. Veggie on the flank might be visible, and they peek. Forrester gets the kill. He's playing CT side finally, but he's doing it from the other side. Snacks. Good for one. PHR leads forward. There's another. Forrester all alone, and he'll die for it. A great round from Illuminar to recover and retake. Snacks on stairs was massive.
And it's a double flank. A little bait and switch. After finding and flushing out the flank, Nemiga thought it was safe. Only for Snacks to bite right back. Mouse, though, that double little burst in through middle really gave them enough of an advantage to make that one work. Nemiga were scrambling to try and take that site after the fact.
And right now it's PHR and Mouse who are topping the charts, but Snacks not too far behind. All three of these players, the trio, stepping up, while Nemiga, I have to say, outside of Jo, who's it been? Forrester's had moments, but that is That's okay, Snacks. That's actually a very easy name to mess up. But hey, my question still stands: where is Speedic? You know, where are these additional performances from Nemiga?
Yeah, and it feels like this scoreline wouldn't be quite so close if there weren't so many surprising wins on Nemiga's CT side. The Ds, the USPs.
Jo getting an ace.
Yeah, certainly helps.
They're going for a boost quickly over here. Forrester might not want to take this too long, but actually he finds Mouse. Mouse exposes himself at an angle he wasn't entirely sure about, but now Forrester leads forward. He's more than happy to continue the charge, but waits for a flashbang. The CTs are actually the ones to throw it, and his team is blind, but he's gone forward. He's looked for the head and found it. So clean, so crisp. And now Jo has a buddy, and Forrester's hoping to really step in, and he's done so. These entries are huge.
so huge, in fact, Illuminar have to back away and save. Similar type of round. We saw it from Snacks prior, where he just kept pushing forward into the opposition and finding each and every frag. Forrester really stepping up to the plate, and he did have a bit of a revitalization towards the end of that first half. Contributing a lot more now on this T side, those entries so sharp. And that's what we saw yesterday when they were on Vertigo, rather. Forrester was put in positions where he could just take the fights how he wanted to. Yep. Maybe that's the way that Nemiga can get better activations out of him moving forward. Double digits for Nemiga, now just 1 round shy.
And look at how Forrester gets these kills. It's so reminiscent of an Opera, just being told, okay, you're a star Opera, you're going to be able to take over this round, just tell us where you want to go and we'll play behind you, we'll play around you, we'll make sure we play off of you perfectly, we'll give you the flashes you need, we'll give you the boost we need. Forrester's playing this like Snacks was, just with an AK. And Snacks, well, he's got an AK too, so maybe he can make this work. Great shot, and he's been traded. Riyadh gets another and 2. But it's still competitive. Illuminar, despite this being more of a fumbled together force buy, they now have the advantage, which might be swiftly returned. Forrester jumps forward, risks his head, but will keep it for now, although he's been tagged.
Whether or not this has implications or not, Speedak will get the bomb down. Again, bit of a shy performance this map, but a good clutch for Nemiga to be put into. Good to see him get a bit more aggressive. They are being pincered in. They have been contained. Illuminar they have the kit on Veggie and a flash available as well. They're trying to make this flank successful, but the flash doesn't do too much.
Let's BHR on the flank. He's been so good, and he's got another Speedak trying to fight, but loses the duel. And Illuminar are the ones who now have some CT-sided magic. Their force buy works out for them. And I'd love it if we can just quickly go over to Speedak. I think he has like a 28 ADR or something like that. That's just not acceptable.
Yeah, and I think the bitter pill to swallow is that when they were playing this with Zorte, he actually did pretty darn good. So having the returning player, one of your standard players, come in with an underperformance, where especially because Speedak was kind of the star of Nemiga prior to Lollipop. He was taking the attention, turning a lot of heads. At the moment, the heads are turned down.
And they're pretending he's not really there. Which for the cities has worked out, because on the server he isn't. Unfortunately for Speedak, this has to change soon, otherwise Nemiga's going to have a rough time. Jo's no longer that fragging machine he was in the first half. Sure, he's had a couple moments here or there, and he'll have those. Man's an absolutely insane fragger, but there's still, it just seems like a one-man army. It just seems like it's Forrester, and sometimes Jo now steps up as well. Now Veggie has found a kill through the smoke while they're trying to cross over. Veggie's looking for more, but the bomb will be planted. They do have Molotovs, but they choose not to use them. A nade will not do anything, but PHR is the one to find damage. Jo can't retreat.
These post plants are going to be dangerous. Speedak, the AWP strikes first. Snacks being brought down, but it's a missed shot. Mal's able to capitalize, and they have the numbers ever so slightly low HP on PHR, so he's down, and they cannot get on this bomb all too successfully. They ran up for Reeds. The double on the spray down, but now the time is of the essence. Illuminar needs to stick it off Forrester, missing the jump. No, surely not. They're going to steal it right from under his nose. Forrester didn't commit to the peak, didn't commit to the swing, and Illuminar get the defuse.
After he missed the jump, he was hoping that the CT would stop. Forrester, what a big misplay. Michael, you're always talking about movement and how much you like to see it, but this is the opposite of that.
Yeah, I closed my eyes.
Yeah.
It hurts a little too much.
Unfortunately, Forrester may have as well for that jump, but Nemiga, now, that was a round that should have been yours after the after the lead they were able to get in the post plant, but Riyad's first lines it up, and then there's just the 1v1.
Oh dear.
Very rough place to be. Very rough place to be right now.
Well, it was time to be critical of Illuminar on their T side, but it's these post plants for Nemiga that they cannot bring over the line. And Illuminar have been doing a much better job on these retakes, whether it has been by that same level of magic that Nemiga had on their CT side. So we harped on Jo being such a crucial part of that CT performance, but has slowed down. It's going to be that first port of call, looking for the peak speed, taking a lot of nade damage. And Illuminar for now playing very contained in the site.
Jo zoned in. He knows he's not had a good few rounds. He's gone from being 20 and 10 to 23 and 18. And Illuminar right now, because they don't have any utility, they're playing this very smart. Normally, you'd sometimes see a team try to get aggressive. But instead, they've just let a player stay back. And that's a Famas that could come through for a late flank. That's earlier than expected, but not in a place where they're thinking of Forrester. However, he's crept past. He's also playing the silent game. He knows how to go for this. And as Mouse throws out a smoke, he'll reveal his position. And Forrester peeks out, but he can't get the kill. Flashbang actually from his teammates blinds him up, but he re-peeks. Great shot on the entry. And Forrester, this is his angle. He has owned it, but his team has to step up with him. And Veggie can't back off. There's a Molotov, but it's been smoked by the T side.
And Illuminar will tap out. The one kill found by Forrester, and they back off. And you can understand why. You can see how awkward this round had to play out. The contact-heavy approach from either side of the coin. Illuminar cutting sound, and Nemiga barely making a peep. A lot of guessing had to go on for that CT side. Even with that advanced position of Snacks, it was just never allowed to have the impact that they were looking for. And so instead, yeah, hold on to these guns for the next round.
And Nemiga hold on to their hope as they'll have a little bit more of it. Forrester is now up to 19-15, dude. This guy's gone from 1 and 8 to 19-15. Sorry, 1 and not 1 and 8, 1 and 7 to 19-15. That's a comeback. He's been 14 and 8 since then. It's pretty much the opposite of Jo, but the difference is Jo's not been failing at a few key points where, you know, you could argue that Forrester did let go off at times of the CT side, but he's more than made up for it over here. Ignore the ADR. This guy's been insane on these entries. Every time they win a round, it's off the back of Forrester.
Now he moves forward once again, but it's gonna be return. Trying to commit for a bit deeper control, and Reed's doubling up. They lost Miles early. Actually, the best player that could have gone down, considering he didn't have a rifle brought forward. The money wasn't there, but now Nemiga have to work it back, being a man down. They have separated. They've created some distance. It's the sandbags, a problem position, but this time a Molotov available here for Nemiga to flush Snacks into the open. They catch PHR on the rotation. Snacks, they know where you are, but do you find the timing? Neither of them actually looking at the smoke, so Snacks swung out wide. Right now, Nemiga could be in for a world of hurt, but Speedax gonna get this bomb planted for Nemiga.
Snacks is just waiting. What is this? Do they think, oh, thank God, someone's watching. Jo gets the kill. Box had full faith in his teammate, and now his teammate can rely on him instead. Box gets one, and Reyes, despite a beautiful 2K to give them the advantage, is forced to step back. Nemiga, for a second there, that got dicey. If Snacks had just waited behind the sandbags and got him the easy kill on Box instead of peeking out, man.
Especially as they were scaling to the site, it didn't seem like anybody was looking at it for Nemiga. So I got a little bit concerned, like, okay, you know there's somebody there, right? And,
for a second, I thought maybe they thought that, like, another guy smoked it.
Always a possibility as well, yeah.
And money on the CT side is not good. It's not in a place where you can even contemplate buying around the one saved M4. Nemiga might just be given a free equalizer, but as we've learned in this game, nothing is really free. Yeah. It's like a lesson taught in Economics 101, but significantly less boring. Box is moving forward. He wants to be the one to find the entry, and this time he will. Snacks to fall and Veggie to respond, but unfortunately, Speedek is also in the vicinity. He smells them. He knows them. Those are USPs.
Reeds does still have the AK, and he is making his way around. Descends down the ladder, threatening the behind, but Nemiga are pushing forward. So these USPs really just have to slow them down as best as possible, but okay, never mind, everybody's dead, so yeah. The objective shifts. You know, if they wanted a chance in the round, just stay alive, let Reeds do his thing.
Unfortunately, right now, Reeds is wondering what exactly his thing is. It's like really hyping up everyone around you at a party for a trick you're going to do without really knowing where you're going with it. Here's a pigeon in my hand. Yeah, we know you literally just picked it up. Riyad's down. Maybe you can just get some kills at the very end. They will have a buy in the next one, but the problem is even that is rough. He peeks out, gets one. Smoke goes out as well, so other than maybe a quick spam, the only thing he has to be worried about is the lurker, but he can't actually make his way over in time. So a kill is nice, especially because it actually pops him into territory where he can drop an AWP over to Snacks if Snacks wants it. But Snacks is choosing not to go for it, I think. Yeah. Has Snacks opt on the CD side? Maybe once?
Not particularly.
I think he picked it up once, yeah. Which is strange considering how well he was doing on Terra's side. Snacks
Money
though,
hasn't looked that great.
it's true. You might be able to find something here.
Oh no.
Oh no, indeed! Stacks at the back line! He makes it too! It's sloppy, but it's right there and done. Snacks will be able to pick up an AK as well. Tries to spray in, dodges a nade. It's the Matrix all over again, and Snacks is the chosen one, but there's a gap in the smoke, and Forrester, he's come through. He's the glitch you never thought of. Veggie in the sidelines as well. Wants to keep this going, but Forrester, look at Forrester. He's moved past. He's doing what Snacks just did, but better. He's got control of the side. Now Veggie's the only person they need to be careful of. But what is this? How is everyone finding the flank on flank on flank? Veggie's got the bomb. No, he doesn't. Speedek has the bomb. Never mind. I'm sorry. But Speedek's got a plant. It's a 1v3. He's looking at where they're coming from, and it's a double peek. What is this round?
Who has the upper hand? Who has the high ground? It's like it was a battle of elevators at different speeds.
Yeah.
Really, really awkward round. And it all starts with Snacks moving through a smoke where they least expect it. I thought they might have read into it. Having a flash out, priming it towards a ramp, you know, that starts to ring some alarm bells. Typically, players are very good at putting 2 and 2 together, but they missed out on the plus sign, so Snacks was unaccounted for. Illuminar, a narrow edge coming into round 28. 14 to 13, Nemiga making sure that doesn't happen again, this time a little bit more proactive, pushing further forward so that Illuminar can't even get to that time.
HR nade goes out, heavy damage from him. And there's the smoke to help out just a little bit. Box has been brave screen, but he just moves through it, gets himself one. Snacks in the meanwhile, who is fully blind, but he has cover to hide behind. And as he's contemplating taking a peek outward, has to be careful that he doesn't misstep and fall. MDS meanwhile worried about a flank, and Speedek is hoping to get some opening kills. Forrester has not been the one opening things. Oh wait, he can't see him at all. I thought you could see the shoe from there. But Speedek can't see Snacks at all. Snacks could be massive. This is an angle that has been untested from either side so far, but Reed's been trained. Snacks peeks out at Speedek to fall. Jo alone in the 1v2, but he's got it down to 1. And now there's 45 seconds. Mouse on the other side. Both players who've done fantastically in the first half, but not the best in second. But Mouse will come out on top. Takes Illuminar to map point. Money is terrible, though, for the CT side.
It never really got going. Nobody has ever felt really the most comfortable. I don't think there have been moments where we've said one team looked more dominant than the other this game, but Nemiga fallen flat ever so slightly. Illuminar really coming up with some incredible, impactful frags, and PHR starts off well. Could be the final nail in the coffin here on Vertigo.
Oh, Forrest has been blinded up, actually. Can he find this? So yes, he can. This is where they go back to Ye Old Faithful, and his name is Forrest. Moves forward, Molotov in his path as well, keeps it going, but can't find the kill he's got so many times over. This time the CT head not quite exposed, but a Molotov will at least force them back far enough that a bomb plant is possible. PHR, nade goes out. This time, CTs are focusing much more on a heavy retake style, but without the Molotovs, it will get tricky.
Question is, when do they pull the trigger on this? A flash thrown? But they're now bleeding out some of this utility. Reed's coming in hot with the first, and Speedax still contained in the site, but a crucial kill, an equalizer at that. MDS as well, covering the progression, but it's trades galore. Illuminar still making their way forward, and they've smoked out the troublesome position, but there's a gap that Box exploits, pushing past it. PHR cannot stick the bomb, and Nemiga keep themselves afloat. A 14th round found, and you talked about the money. Illuminar, they're in a bit of a tight spot.
This is where the CT magic that Nemiga had found really needs to be located, but Illuminar, they keep rubbing the genie's lamp, but it just won't give them any wishes. This is last chance saloon. They lose this one, and Nemiga in overtime. You don't really know where they're going, and Speedak might be picking up some steam. Gets himself the opening frag. It's the first time, one of the first times we've seen that from him. But it's high time that he started showing up and putting up. But Box is there to follow through as well. Now up to 16. He was struggling earlier on too. Nemiga are generally coming alive. And in a 5 versus 3, they have patience. They're not letting their advantage get the best of them. They are funneling through slowly and seeing how things shape out. Mouse, meanwhile, on that B bomb site, is going to be given some company very soon if he can get a kill or 2 or 3. Yeah, you know, you can hope. Maybe there's still something that can be done, but it needs that much at least. He moves forward, Forrester's down, the right boss, yes, but MDS's Molotov has burnt him alive.
Box reads into the quick flank as well, and well, we head to the overtime. Nemiga keep it going here on Vertigo, but we have to go to a quick break before we get into the action once again.
It feels so good when I'm around you.
And we're back. It's Illuminar who have been fought against a few too many times by Nemiga. Unfortunately for them, Nemiga is now hitting their stride, and individually, they're pretty much all stepping up. Even Speedek had his moments towards the very end. I've got Michael, Yumi, Cassidy with me here. And Michael, you need to break this game down because I sure as hell can't.
Well, in the same way you introduced me all topsy-turvy like, this game has been exactly that. Illuminar, they've been a little bit more consistent in terms of getting performances out of their players. Nemiga have taken a while to see a bit more action on a few of theirs. Speedek does seem to be the odd one out, but has hit some pretty important shots towards the end of regulation. Nemiga, this time a slower round where they're setting up for an A-sided execute, and the smokes are once again going to separate. Veggie, the only one that has been isolated as a result of this, but there's no real substance behind this for Nemiga. They have not actually committed out with it. Instead, they're waiting to re-exec.
Strange. Now, though, that might actually end up working out in their favor, but the problem is those nades that are available on the Illuminar side. Not nades, it's sprays through smoke. But you're giving them everything. They find two, and sure, there's a player jumping through the smoke, but Reyes is able to take him down blind. It's a 2v5 with the bomb down, Michael, but this is not going to be an easy one, especially when Speedek can't land the shot. Forrester on the fadeaway gets some damage, but not the kill. He keeps going. Great shot to lead in. Forrester looking for more, but it's Speedek to assist. Forrester in this angle is so good, but he's forced to reload. And Illuminar will find the 16th.
And it seemed like Nemiga were going for a sort of a mind game. A little switcheroo, hoping that Illuminar would see that as a fake instead of re-emphasis on the B-bomb site, but when it came down to it, they lost too many numbers on their approach to the site, even when they got the bomb planted, just using that 5-on-2 advantage to its full effectiveness. And trading after the fact, Illuminar were unfazed by that slower, stranger approach there from Nemiga.
Nemiga themselves going for it is so surprising, but this time Snacks is taking out Forrester, who seemed untouchable on that B-bomb site. So much of Nemiga's success came off the back of Forrester, but now my only concern is, can Illuminar keep it going? Flashbang comes over, Speedek is able to avoid it. Illuminar is looking like they really want to test the waters of Connector, but they keep their feet out of the pool, knowing there could be piranhas. Speedek. Yeah, those two nades could have been really big, actually, but unfortunately not quite as much damage as there was.
Just look at the read that Illuminar have. Just because of how Forrester is aggressed and looked for a bit more space towards B, they've not really felt any pressure towards that A site, so they're actually gamble rotating, leaning a little bit more towards middle, and re-emphasizing that B bomb site just because of, like you said, how influential Forrester has been in some of those positions. But it's actually allowed for additional space to be taken here by MDS, but now that he's found, this should give up the game.
It is just a B-bomb site hit waiting to come through, and Mouse, this is a different position. It's not one that they had to contest before, and he's got 2 kills, maybe even 3, but Speedek shuts him down. 15 seconds on the clock. Speedek and a 1v4 for the ace clutch. This is the definition of an impossible round. 8 seconds on the clock. Fakes out the bomb plan as well, but it's Veggie to come in and finish his misery. Illuminar looking much better on the CT side of overtime, at least. That's a really cool logo, like in the DreamHack Studio thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. Though I think it looks better when it's in 3D than it does on the HUD, strangely enough. They are the same.
Yep.
Don't know. Maybe it's just the added realism. Nemiga may need to start getting realistic, as this has not been the start they were looking for here in the overtime. Was it sheer dumb luck that they got to this point? At times, maybe it could have looked like it. There's a method to the madness. Nemiga, once again, looking for an opening towards this B-bomb site. Slightly different in the approach here from Forrester, but a pathway that Illuminar may not predict as heavily. Oh, the Molotov. Okay, Red right into, and Forrester burned out of the position.
Forrester has had exactly 2 entry pods so far, and now they've unlocked both of them from Nemiga. Jo does get a response, which keeps things competitive. So now, it comes down to this. Nax will have to maintain position towards B for a little while longer, and that's the window that Nemiga has. They have to clear out PHR, who's waiting inside sandbags, and they've got plenty of Molotovs to do it, but will they remember? We've seen once before what happens, but PHR doesn't even need to be cleared. He even smokes himself off before the molly comes in, peeks again, drops the ball, and now a secondary flashbang to give Veggie the space to make sure they aren't already up ramp. Veggie safeguarding from Ali, making sure Jo can't get through for free. Jo can't get through at all. He's paid the toll of his life. And with 20 seconds left, again, you're in an impossible situation. MDS is not able to get it done.
3-0 in the overtime. A flawless half. And I don't know that there's going to be enough in the tank here for Nemiga to really bounce back. Sure, we got the best contributions from Jo on this CT side. We talked about how he may have slowed down. But what is it like to be back in winning ways? To pull out 4Ks? These massive multi-frags that Nemiga seem to almost rely on to get the engine jump started.
It's been a while since they've had Jo to put a head on when they need to cry. But Jo, I mean, he's gone for 20 and 10 to being 29 and 25. That's 9 and 15, and that's a fun fact indeed. Veggie, 13 years old when Sax won the major.
Oh, what a little cutie.
Oh. Question is whether or not Illuminar can actually close out. Jo, if he regains some of his lost form on the CT side overtime, maybe there's something to be done. Speedek also looking slightly better, not substantially, but slightly. And MDS has that secondary up. Is there a world? And we'll have to find out as Jo moves in, but there's a Molotov, there's a flashbang. He's just been blocked out, and Speedek, he's in the definition of a one and done spot. PHR moves forward, and he's been brought down. Dished some of his own medicine, and Speedek now waits as a nade comes through, and he sees it, knows his fate, and has sacrificed himself to it. Mouse moves forward. He's not taking the Forrester route, but he makes it work regardless. 4v3 and 2. Veggie in mid, unexpected. They didn't have a player actually safeguarding the position, and they are overwhelmed.
Snax has been so clutch for Illuminar. When it's come to the OT in particular, he's found so many high impact frags. And Nemiga, a 2-on-4 to try and bring this a little further, but Vertigo, maybe gone. A map advantage likely held for Illuminar. Jo, he's had good performances on this CT side, but this would need to be a miracle one at that. Half the bomb is ticked on down, and Jo's been spotted, so the element of surprise isn't even there anymore. An Illuminar victory as they close out overtime quickly.
And that's a disappointing finish right there. Jo not even able to make it 30. Would have made it his 630 bomb on Vertigo this year on this particular lineup. Like I said, Michael, just falling off in form. And after that, I mean, Forrester was carrying him through the second half short, but there was no one else over there either. So when Forrester then suddenly isn't in form and Jo isn't performing, who is? It wasn't Speedek. Sure, Box had a couple of moments, but who's really the performer?
Yeah, and it felt like it was a little bit too sporadic. It had to be these small contributions from MDS, from Box, from Speedek at times, but only the tiniest slice of the pie. It feels like there was so much more, and we couldn't quite afford it at the bakery. Still,
Indeed.
Map 2.
Listen, yeah, Map 2 coming up, but before that, we'll have a break and a death segment. We'll guide you through some of that pie. We'll be back in just a bit.
when Illuminar and Nemiga met on a map that neither team really knows how to play. That's Counterwang. Blair, what did you make of this first matchup?
I'm pissed off Illuminar won after that first half, I won't lie. But then again, I mean, it was painful. I thought the Mirage game we had earlier was probably the scrappiest map we've seen so far, but this map took the cake. That first half, Illuminar lost 3 rounds to the clock. I don't know what they were doing. They're not taking a side. They were just dilly-dallying around, not getting anything done. There's one round we didn't have any utility for the guy in sandbags. It was Joe sitting over there, and he got an ace from that because no one checked it. So those 4 rounds broke me. And yeah, there we go. I mean, they win it. They win the map. You know, a little bit of great showing from Snacks coming out there, even though he had only 20. I mean, only 27, but almost all the kills he got, at least that second half, was very impactful, high impact kills, and I feel like he was very instrumental in them winning that overtime as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, messy game. Yeah.
Gio, yeah, he put up a decent performance early today, and Forrester, I feel kind of embarrassed for the rest of the Nemiga that Forrester is a stand-in. He's a stand-in, and yet he was the reason that they won rounds on their T side. It was because of their stand-in, and okay, fine, we got the excuse, it wasn't their map pick. But Speedak, yeah, he's meant to be one of their great hopes. He's the AWP, he's meant to be the person creating space, and instead he's fallen on his face, Fu.
I think he kind of struggled against Gambit as well. Back in the previous series, he just couldn't line up and pick them off as they went into bomb sites, and that forced them to play a little bit more aggressive than maybe they would have wanted to, and that ended up with them. I didn't think they should beat Gambit, but I thought they could take a map, and maybe it's similar here against the Illuminar. I don't know if personally I think they shouldn't beat Illuminar, but at least they should take a map, and that's, you know, they came back into it, and then in overtime it was just a complete absolute flop. Not very close there as soon as it got into overtime. So what is map number 2 again?
Map number 2 is going to be Nuke. And that is, yeah, so that's Nemiga's pick. But I you know what, Vu, while we've got you before we head into Nuke, I'm curious to know why you think Illuminar have the edge over Nemiga, because I feel like I didn't get a chance to kind of talk to you about that prediction earlier because I was kind of shocked. And then I did go back and I looked at the head-to-heads, and actually, you know what, last time these two teams met, and it was at the end of October in the Beijing Hodan qualifiers for IEM, the Polish side, they did win it. So
yeah, I gave that one a look. I gave that one a look, and you know, that's a little bit closer to Forrester joining the roster, so it felt like a bit of a coin flip off of that. I feel like Nemiga, I feel like they're the better team, but you know, me and Bled talked about this. Teams that ban Inferno, right? You know, they ban Inferno, and Illuminar rather, ban Inferno, which is really Nemiga's best map by far. They're kind of Inferno specialists, so they end up on some maps that they're pretty good with, and Nemiga aren't that great on. You end up on Vertigo, Mirage, and Nuke. It could go either way, but I can't really see Mirage necessarily going the way of Nemiga.
All right, then. We're going to head to a break. When we come back, we will be heading to Nuke, where we have our 4th 2-0 of the day. Or are we going to be here until technically tomorrow, European time? We'll find out soon.